Hi everyone, I'm Maria and welcome or welcome back to my Nook. Today I'm starting yet another reading vlog, but this one will be set for a certain time period again. I did this in my last reading vlog where I set myself the time period of 24 hours and I actually kind of enjoyed that. I'm still a bit worried that these type of vlogs might not be as interesting because I'm not the type of person that can read like 3 books within a weekend, so I probably won't get as much reading done in these vlogs as people might be hoping for. But again, maybe I'm judging myself and my content too harshly here. I'm still hoping I can read a bunch within the next 24 hours, or maybe I will even extend the reading vlog to like a 48-hour period. I will see. I have yet to decide that, but let's talk about my reading plans because I am about one third into a book, and that is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. This is the monthly buddy read of October for Katie's Readings Patreon, and I started reading this book already and I've been really enjoying it. I read like 80 pages in this book yesterday, which speaks for itself, I think. So now I was really in the mood to do a reading vlog and read this book in a reading vlog. So let's talk about what this book is about. We have our main character. She's called Elspeth Spindle and she lives in this place called Blunder. I'm actually not sure what type of place Blunder exactly is because it's a bit confusing. Like, the world building is a bit confusing and I hope that it'll get better during the course of this book, because in the synopsis on the back of the book, in the first sentence, it is called The Kingdom of Blunder, but further down in the same synopsis, it's called The Town of Blunder, which has me a bit confused, and like the same confusion is happening in the book because there's usually talk of the town of Blunder and it's more described as a town, but then the king lives in Blunder, so I would assume Blunder would probably be like the capital of the kingdom. But here's the thing. Blunder is surrounded by this mist, and therefore this mist cuts Blunder off from the others. That's what it says in the book, and it hasn't really been made clear who the others are. Like, are the others neighboring towns and villages, or are the others neighboring countries? If Blunder is a town and that's all that the king rules, is it like Morocco? Is it that type of situation? Or if Blunder is the capital of a country and it's cut off from the rest of the country, how does the king rule the rest of his country if he can't get to it and if the others can't get to him? You know what I mean? So I'm kind of confused on that part. I also don't really know whether Blunder is like a small town or a big city, but I'm hoping that it'll clear up throughout the book. I also know that other people have the same issue with this book. I'll see. So anyway, in this book, Elspeth, the main character, has this monster inside her head. It's called the Nightmare, who, by the way, I personally love a lot as a character. He's just so, like, yes, he's a bit scary, honestly, but he's also so intriguing and funny even. Sometimes he speaks in like rhymes and riddles and he quotes this 500-year-old book that all people in Blunder know. And sometimes he just really talks like an ancient being, you know? But other times he just adds these sassy or dry or just funny comments to what's happening, and I love it so much. Honestly, it's so funny. And I just love these type of comments that he makes sometimes. It's so funny. Like, he's this monster living in her head, but he can be so funny at times, honestly. Just To give you a better idea of the general plot of this book, basically the fact that the nightmare lives in Elspeth's mind gives her a certain magical ability, and this magical ability has to do with providence cards that exist in this world. And these providence cards basically give the holder a certain magical ability, and each card gives the holder a different ability. But in this world, magic always comes at a great cost. So if anyone, and anyone can use these cards, if anyone uses one of these cards too much or too often, they also have consequences. In general, I find it really interesting that in this world there's basically the concept that people see magic and magical abilities as something bad. Because in this world there's this infection, this fever, and if people even survive this infection or fever at all, they're often left with magical abilities. But people are hunted down when they show magical abilities because people believe that these magical abilities are like an ugly scar left on people, something that, like an abomination, something that shouldn't be, something that is to be feared, something that's dangerous and nothing else, you know? So it's really such a big contrast to a lot of other fantasy novels where magical abilities belong to the heroes and people long to have magical abilities and they crave to learn them and study them and receive them and stuff like that, and magical abilities are equal to power. So I find that concept really, really interesting. Back to the magical ability that Elspeth has, it is showing that she might be of use to some people. If you manage to gather a full deck of these cards, it is said that you will be able to lift the mist from Blunder. And now the king is obviously trying to do that, but there's another thing he will have to do to lift the mist from Blunder once he does have a full deck. And there are certain people that want to keep him from doing that, which honestly, thank God. But in order to keep him from doing that, they basically need Elspeth's help. She met a person who is the captain of the elite soldiers of the king, basically. Those are the people that hunt down people with magical abilities. I'm definitely seeing romance crumbs here and there already, and I'm really enjoying that. I cannot wait to continue reading this book and continue seeing where their story will be going. I am so excited. The vibes and the atmosphere in this book are so good, like so eerie and gothic and a little spooky with the mist, and I'm really enjoying the magic system as well. So I am so excited, and I have talked way too much for this intro already, so I'm gonna get to it now. It is almost 5 p.m. so I think I will do this reading vlog from like 5 p.m. today is Saturday, to either 5 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday, or maybe if I'm up for it until 5 p.m. on Monday. Hi, it's the next day, and to be honest, I've done a sort of bad job at vlogging and at reading today so far, because it's already 3 p.m. and I have not read a single page in my book yet today. That's mainly because I took care of another video and I just took care of a couple of things in my apartment. But I wanted to give you a reading update on One Dark Window before I continue reading it. I have read up to page 203 yesterday. I'm already in part 2 by now, a few pages into chapter 19. And oh my gosh, I'm enjoying this book so much by now. Like, the world building concerning Blunder is still a tiny bit confusing to me, but the rest of it, like the atmosphere, the vibes of this book, and the dynamics between certain characters are so good, and like we're finding out more and more things about certain characters that I'm just so intrigued about and I just find so interesting. And the main character, I think you could call him, Raven, is also getting more and more interesting by the page, because we're sometimes getting like little sprinkles of information about him, but then we also get to see that like there's more about him. There's more things that we don't know about him yet, and secrets that he's keeping from the main character Elspeth, and I'm like, I want to know it all. We're also basically slowly figuring out that there are quite a few high-ranking and very public figures in this place that have been infected, or like are infected, like they had the fever at some point and now they're infected. They're just like, that's what the people call it. They just call them infected, and they are infected even though they're not continuously sick in that sense. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but like these people were left with magical abilities after they had caught and survived the fever, and like they're high-ranking and public figures in Blunder, and first up, their infection, and second, their magical abilities are being hidden, while like common people have to try so incredibly hard to hide their children and family members and friends when they're infected and when they caught the fever, so they're not being dragged off. And God knows what happens to the people that are being dragged off by like physicians and destriers. Those are the elite guard, or the elite soldiers of the king, in case I didn't mention that before. And nobody really knows what happens to people that become infected and then get caught by physicians and destriers, and people are scared of it, you know? But these high-ranking public people are just living their lives, and their infection and magical abilities are being hidden. And I'm like it makes it interesting, obviously, because it gives the story more secrets that we can find out and that the main character can find out, because the people of Blunder literally don't know about any of this. But also I feel like it gives so much space for like social critique in that sense. Like, common people have to go through so much trouble and through so much shit because of laws that the king is putting up, or like holding them accountable to. And on the other hand, these people can just act out treason basically just because of their social standard. That's interesting for sure. I find those things very interesting, and I'm really curious to find out more about those. As of right now, Elspeth has joined this group of people who Raven, the captain of the Destriers, is a part of, and I think I've already mentioned this. They're trying to collect their own deck of these Providence cards, and then they want to unite them in order to like lift the mist off of Blunder, and Elspeth can help them with her magical ability. They are currently trying to get a certain Providence card from a certain person, and now they're basically on a mission to do that, which honestly might prove way more dangerous than they thought it would be. I'm like there in the middle of it right now, and I am so on the edge of my seat to see where that will go. If somebody's gonna die, I don't know, but I definitely want to know. And also something I wanted to mention is that this book has me so invested and I'm so gripped by the story that oftentimes I just sit and read for so long without once getting the urge to like pick up my phone or check my phone. And I don't often check the page number either. I don't really check like how many pages are left in this chapter either. This book just has me so invested that I just don't think about any of those things. And honestly, it's so great. I am loving it so much. I'm enjoying this so much, and I cannot wait to jump back into it now. Oh, by the way, also, I have figured out that I want to continue this reading vlog until tomorrow, so Monday, 5 p.m. So this is going to be a 48-hour reading vlog. Alright everybody, today is Monday and I am here to give you another reading update for One Dark Window. I have actually filmed this update already. I talked for like 12 whole minutes and then suddenly, out of nowhere, there was an error and my camera did not save the file that I recorded. I was like 10 seconds away from finishing the update. So I'm just gonna tell you everything I just said again. Thank God I had already written myself a little note before even starting this clip, so I don't think I will forget anything. But anyway, let's talk reading update for One Dark Window. I just finished chapter 26. I'm on page 296 now. It is currently almost 2:45 p.m. now. And honestly, so much stuff has happened in this book since I last updated you. That's why I wrote this little note, so I won't forget anything. So first of all, when I updated you the last time, I think I already told you that like shit was about to go down, and let me tell you, shit did go down. First of all, they were disguised, obviously, so they wouldn't be recognized or anything. And second of all, obviously, a fight broke out. In that fight, somebody seriously hurt Elspeth without knowing who she is, but Elspeth knew who that person is, right? So Raven was so angry, like so silently angry about the fact that that specific somebody hurt Elspeth. And I think like the next day or something, he saw that somebody that hurt Elspeth and he lost his temper quite a bit, which normally he is such a controlled person, right? So to see him lose his temper because somebody hurt Elspeth was so, like, my fantasy romance heart was jumping with joy. It was so good. I obviously don't condone violence or anything like that, but seeing him lose his temper because somebody hurt her was so good. We also found out more about the nightmare, and those things were actually things I had already suspected because of certain things that had happened and things that the nightmare himself had said, but it didn't feel too predictable. And honestly, the things that we found out about the nightmare are quite interesting, honestly, and I am so curious to see where that is going to be taken, that plot point, you know? We also found out more about Blunder's history, which was also incredibly interesting to hear because I feel like it shines a very interesting light on certain people, and especially with the things that those certain people have done and said here and there makes them seem like just so double-sided almost. Like, for example, this one person said that the magic that is given to people by the Providence cards is fine magic, is good magic, but the magic that people receive through the fever, the infection that nobody asked for, is bad magic and should be punished, and the people should be hunted for that magic. And I'm like, that is so double-sided, honestly. Like, what? So I feel like there's a lot to unpack there, honestly. And then there's also the thing that Elspeth has been using her magic more and more, and I kind of feel like it's almost a bit like an addiction for her because she keeps reaching for her magic more and more often, and every time she does it, she even regrets it afterward because it almost never really ends well. Like, yes, it helps her at first, but then it always sort of goes to shit in some ways. So she almost always regrets it, but she still keeps on reaching for the magic. That's why I kind of feel like it's almost like an addiction for her. And it might be getting worse the more she reaches for her magic, especially because she's showing signs of degeneration by now. And by the way, degeneration is this thing that people experience who have magic because of the fever, because they're infected. Like, all the magic in this world comes with a cost. There are very specific costs that each Providence card demands of its holder when that person is using that card too much or too often. I think I already explained that. But like, for magic that people have received through the fever or the infection, there is this thing called degeneration, where people quite literally like degenerate over time, and this degeneration shows differently in every single person that is infected. So for one person it might be that they're losing their mind over time, another person might be losing their physical strength, like they're growing physically weaker over time, another person might be going blind or deaf over time, and she's showing degeneration. And honestly, it's not good. Like, it's kind of terrifying. What's also terrifying is something that just happened, because the High Prince, the Crown Prince, did something that is not supposed to be done publicly, but he did it very publicly, and it was so god awful to watch. It was just heartbreaking and terrifying, honestly. And everything that happened after was just absolutely, oh my gosh, it was just absolutely awful. Like, shit went down, and now shit is still going down, but like other shit, you know what I mean? We're just jumping from one shit to the other shit going down now, basically. The author is not granting us any peace at the moment. We're like 100 pages, I'm like 100 pages away from the end of this book, and I am so curious to see how this book is going to end, because I've heard from people that once they finished this book, they wanted to start the second book immediately. So I am so curious to see how this book is going to end, and I am honestly so tempted to buy the second book already. I kind of want to. Like, I kind of feel like I will want to read the second book either way. I'm enjoying this world so much. I'm enjoying these characters so much and this magic and everything. I will probably buy the second book in this series. I honestly don't know if this is just a duology or if there's going to be another book, because the second book only just came out this month. Maybe there will be a third book? I don't know. But Goodreads says, as of right now, there's only 2 books. So yeah, that is my update as of right now. I am going to continue reading until 5 p.m. and then I will update you one last time for this vlog. And honestly, I kind of feel like I might be able to finish this book this month still, which I didn't think I would manage. Like, I thought I would manage to finish another book this month, because today is the 30th of October. But I might still be able to finish this book this month. Which would be so cool, honestly. But anyway, I am babbling already. We're gonna see each other in my final update. Alright, it is now a little past 5 p.m. Actually, not just a little past 5 p.m. It's like a little past 6 p.m. But I just kept on reading in this book. And I am now on page 341. I just finished chapter 30. I'm in part 3 by now of One Dark Window. So not too much has happened since I last updated you, because I haven't read that much. What has happened since then? So the shit that was going down that I talked about in the last clip, like the stuff that just started to go down, sort of went down. It wasn't as bad as I thought it might be, but it's still not looking good for the future. Like, what's currently going on is not looking good for the future. It did give us a few interesting insights though. I don't think I can really talk about what exactly that is. Elspeth is having weird dreams and started like sleepwalking, and not just sleepwalking. She's doing really odd shit while she's sleepwalking. So that is definitely something that is a little scary, to be honest. Probably incredibly terrifying for her. I think she even said so at one point. There was some good romance development, although I would have almost wished for a bit more angst. But maybe I'm alone in that. I think I like the direction that we're going in. As of right now, the group that Elspeth is now a part of, together with Raven. They're looking for another Providence card, and this one is proving kind of difficult to find, especially because another, let's call it challenge, has presented itself to them right now, and I am very curious to see where that is going to go, especially because there's only about 50 pages left in this book. So I think I can sort of see already why people want to read the second book immediately after finishing the first book. Like, my finger is literally so close to buying the second book already. But I think I'm going to finish the first book first today. However, that is not going to be a part of this vlog anymore, because I am just going to tell you really quickly how much I read in this vlog to give you a bit of a wrap up, and then I will let you go. So since I started this vlog on Saturday, I have read 205 pages, which honestly is so much for my standards. I read 69 pages on Saturday, 80 pages on Sunday, and 56 pages today, which honestly, like, whoa, I don't think I've read that much in so many consecutive days in quite a long while. So I have really been flying through this book. For my standards, I've been inhaling it practically, and honestly, I love being this invested in a book. As of right now, I kind of feel like I didn't love it as much as I first thought I would, but I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm so looking forward to what's going to happen at the end of this book. So with that, I will let you guys go. I hope you have enjoyed this reading vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe. Maybe let me know down in the comments whether you have read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick, or maybe just let me know what you're currently reading or anything else you want to tell me. Other than that, I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet or in my next video. Bye!